The person who influenced me the most to have surgery, I want to say, is one of my close friends. Her name is Shanira. She was the first person that I know that was as close to me that got the surgery.
What made me just want to go ahead and get it, like after I had my baby, I had a little mommy fat. So I was just like, I gotta get rid of these.
Honestly, with myself, I didn't necessarily want surgery, but I wanted a butt ever since I was like younger when I realized I didn't have one. So then when I got older and when BBL culture came along, I just wanted one, so I got one. As a child, I compared myself to a girl in my class because she had a real big butt. So I compared it to another classmate, and then when I got older, I just compared it to like all the thick girls on Instagram and stuff like that.
So I grew up always wanting to dibble in it. I always say like I'm from the Pamela Anderson generation where, you know, Baywatch was the thing, and so like big boobs were, you know, and we all knew hers were fake. So it just made sense to want to also have big boobs. Like I've been walking around since I was like a child saying I'm gonna have a boob job, and now that I'm grown, decided to go ahead and get a BBL instead.
Like I never been one of them people like, oh, I want a body like her or a body like this. And I feel like a lot of people get surgery just to look like someone. And that wasn't the case with me. Like I loved, even if I didn't get surgery, I still like loved my body.
I was aware of complications because I've had friends that have gone to get a BBL before, or any type of surgery. I've had friends that get a BBL. I've had friends that went and got the shots. So yeah, I was aware.
You really have to research. You're going to have doctors that do bad jobs. Everyone, it's not like everything's going to be perfect all the time. Right. So you had to really do your research on that. Make sure they ain't have no deaths. That's really my issue. Like if they had a lot of deaths, hell, one death, I'm alright.
I was aware of all the effects and all the results that could have happened. I did a lot of research, and I knew that I wasn't gonna go to Columbia or somewhere like weird like that to go get it. I did a lot of research on my doctor, and I just had faith in him, and I was communicating with him months before I even booked it. So I felt like I was safe in good hands.
I didn't really have any fears going into having surgery simply because I'm a surgery baby. I've had all type of other stuff done to my body, like from sports injuries to just even like little invasive stuff like having tonsils removed or whatever. I've always had something going on, so anesthesia never scared me, going into surgery never scared me, having my body cut up on never scared me. Like just let's go ahead and do it.
I went to Dawes Plastic Surgery in Miami, and I went to Dr. Bierman. To get on my flight, I drove to New Orleans, caught my flight in New Orleans, and flew out. Took an hour flight to Fort Lauderdale, and when I got there, I have a friend girl that had just moved to Miami probably a couple months before, so you have to have pre-op a day, 24 hours before your surgery. So that day I went up there, they took pictures of my before so they could have them right next to my after pictures. What a lot of people don't know is they don't care if you bring your own faja. The little body shaper that you have to put on after your surgery, they are gonna make you buy one from them because they wanna make sure that it fits.
I went to Mia Aesthetics and I went to Dr. Balker. Girl, we get to Miami and it's like 6, 7 at nighttime at evening in Miami. I'm like, no one called me yet for a fucking time. No one fucking called me. So I'm like, what is going on? So I finally called them. They're like, yeah, they're still making calls, blah, blah. Boom, it's like 8, almost 9 o'clock. They finally call me back. They're like, yeah, if you can come at, I want to say it was like in the morning time. It was like 8 or 9. So it was like 8 or 9 a.m. So I'm like, yes. Got there, girl. Why I got there at 8 or 9? That whole day was just waiting until my surgery at 3. You can tell they squeezed me in. You can literally fucking tell they squeezed me in. Because when I even got there, my doctor was like, there's no need to rush or anything because you're my last one of the day. It's late as fuck. It's 3 p.m. I literally woke my eyes up, bitch, and it was like 6.
So I went to pre-op the day before. It was a lot of women walking around, and it was a lot of Spanish women. So they were just saying shit I didn't know for like the whole day, to be honest, up until it was my turn. And I met the doctor, and he was like, what do you want? And I told him how I wanted it, and that I didn't want to look like I got it done, if that makes sense. And the next day I went, and it was a whole bunch of women, and to be honest, it just looked like a human butchery in there. A whole lot of women mumbling. Everybody was in gowns. Blood was everywhere. It didn't look unsanitary or anything like that. It just looked like a chop shop.
So I went to Mia Aesthetics in Miami, Florida. I originally booked my surgery for a Monday, so I boarded the plane and got there 2 days in advance so I could have some time in Miami to actually be in Miami. I did stay the full 7 days that they recommend after having surgery, so I was there for like a whole week afterwards. But that morning, because my surgery was on a Monday, my pre-op and surgery were at the same time. So I got up that morning, went to pre-op. They took me to, I think it's like finance department, to make sure, you know, all of my payments were whatever. Everything was already paid for beforehand before I got there. So I just signed all of my receipts. I went in the back. They did another pregnancy test, passed that. They did another, or failed it rather, whichever one. They did another test for marijuana. I have no idea what the results of those were. They just went over my paperwork. I met with my surgeon and basically told him what my expectations were. Showed him a couple of pictures. He showed me some pictures, and like literally after they put my IV in for fluids, maybe like 10 minutes later, they were walking me to the back to put me on the table.
So then he like, okay, we're gonna, you know, work on you now. So I had walked in there. They had put like this other look. They had took the water stuff out and put the actual anesthesia in there. And girl, I probably was like sleeping 2 seconds. Like, that man was like, it's gonna take a long time to kick in. Girl, I was gone. I was knocked out, and I just woke up it was cold. Girl, I woke up cold as hell. Like, I was hella cold.
And he was explaining to me the pain that I was gonna feel. He was like, okay, we're gonna put you to sleep, and when you wake up, you're gonna be real cold. He said, the pain you're gonna feel is gonna feel like you're getting a tattoo on your whole body. And that's exactly what it felt like when I woke up. When I woke up, all I saw was white light, and I was cold, shaking. I heard other girls crying next to me, and as soon as they realized I was woke, they hurried up and rushed me on up. I had to go ahead and get in the wheelchair because they was trying to go ahead and get me to the recovery house. They go ahead and call the recovery house before they put you to sleep.
When I woke up the next day, I was confused before anything because I'm a person that likes to control what's going on. And the last thing I remember, like I said, was getting the anesthesia. And then I woke up in my Airbnb. So I was confused, and I had this woman over me who was my nurse talking to me and telling me that it was time for me to take my medicine again. And I didn't remember taking my medicine the first time. So when I first woke up, I was confused, and I was scared because I didn't know what I looked like.
One of the main lifestyle changes I had to make was like safety concerns, because boys be wildin'. Like, men are crazy. They were already crazy beforehand, but like obviously the type of clothes I wear now, or how my old clothes fit on me now, like I have to be more careful about like how I'm dressed when I go places, when I'm like not trying to be on that. I've been air tagged before already. Like, I don't know, I need to get a pistol. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I should have had one beforehand, but like definitely now, like, it's completely outrageous. Like, I feel like I think I've gotten like drugged one time at a bar, like just a bunch of crazy stuff. Like, I be in the house, I go to work and I go home.
The lifestyle changes that I've made since surgery, the only thing that I've had to adapt to is like, I guess, becoming a part of BBL culture, because now all of a sudden it's like a big hate wagon because of it, and everybody thinks that we hated ourselves for doing that. So that's the only thing I had to get accustomed to, because I never knew that I was going to have to defend myself in a whole community of women that I don't even know, because I chose to do this.
So for a young girl, my advice would be, just to wait first to see, like, you know, like, because we're all the way not developed. Like, I feel like maybe, like, I feel like one thing I could have waited for to do my body was to have a kid, because people say that changed your body a lot. Like, as far as in your hips, like, it widens. That's all I want. Like, I never got surgery to get the fattest ass.
So it's just like, I would definitely tell a young girl, like, wait, like, it's not that serious. Love yourself first. And that's what I said, I love myself. So it didn't matter if I had a booty or not. It was just like, that's what I wanted to do. But yes, definitely love yourself, because at the end of the day, it don't matter. These men, women, whatever, they gonna do whatever to you long as you let them. You don't have to look a certain way to deal with these men or women. They gonna do whatever you have your standards. So don't be trying to change yourself for someone. Change it for yourself.
When I went into the doctor's office, they had told me I was probably the youngest girl they had come into their office. It's like, you're only 23, you haven't reached your woman body, you haven't got your grown woman body yet, you're gonna fill out when you get older. But I feel like if it's bothering you, go get it did. Don't sit there, because it ain't gonna do nothing but drive you into depression. So if you wanna do it, just do it.
I paid $4,800 for my surgery, plus my Airbnb and my plane ticket and like food and expenses. Probably all together it was a $10,000 trip.
I don't regret anything at all. Only thing I do regret is the after process. Like, I didn't get all my massages like I was supposed to. I had, like I said, that's how I know how girls can get lumps and stuff, because I had got a real bad lump on my right cheek, and I had to massage that out myself, like, for about a good 2 weeks.
But if I had to name any influencers that have like been super influential, like Bernice Burgos is like everything to me. Like, I love her body, I love her personality, I love everything. Like, if I had to have body goals, her body is where I'm trying to get to.